Exactly 4 minutes past the top of the hour. You're right on time for family conversation. This Monday morning, we look at dyslexia. What learning disorder is this? Of course, this tied down with the opening of schools for grade 7, which is actually taking place today. I'm holding court with Phyllis Munyi to my far right, who is the founder Dyslexia Organization Kenya. And right next to her, the center is Kanyeki, who is a parent of a child with dyslexia. Lady and gent, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to latch on this conversation with you, Phyllis, very quickly, and perhaps just begin by understanding what dyslexia is very, very quickly. Just tell me, what is this?
Thank you very much, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to highlight about dyslexia.
Yeah. Just keep on. Don't worry about
Dyslexia is a learning difficulty.
Yeah.
It's invisible. You can't tell that the person has anything by looking at them, by interacting with them. You only realize they have something, or they are not learning like other children when they are in class. So it is easily identified in school by teachers, by when a child goes to school. They have difficulties in learning to read, or they will have difficulty learning to identify the alphabets. They may learn the alphabets well, but when it comes to combining those alphabets to make a word, they will have problem.
Okay.
So in a nutshell, that's what they have. Easily identified in school by teachers. This child will not be, you will not look at that child and say, by looking at them, that they have any learning difficulty. Yes.
Is that what characterizes it as invisible?
Yes.
Okay.
It is invisible because you cannot look at somebody and tell that they have any learning difficulty or any sort of disorder. Yeah.
Okay, I hear you. And so then, Michael, just talk to me about the types of dyslexia that are there for proper context of this conversation.
Just like what Phyllis has said, dyslexia is a learning disorder. Mostly it is very hard just to know that somebody has a dyslexia. I could be having dyslexia. But what matters is the degree and from where do I see myself? From what identify me to be having dyslexia and somebody else having a dyslexia of another degree.
Okay.
Basically, I may not be in a better position to talk about the dyslexia, but all I know is that there are about 6 types of dyslexia.
Right.
So each child with a different type of dyslexia behave differently.
Okay.
So unless now you are taken through all these types of dyslexia, just to be able to identify that when I see this child, this kind of dyslexia that the child is having.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might you be in a position to perhaps just enumerate for us these 6 that are there?
No, okay. I may not be in a position right now, because that needs somebody who is a professional in that field.
And I see Phyllis wanted to take.
Yeah, if she can be in a position.
All right, Phyllis, just for purpose of understanding exactly even what you're talking about, because so this was new for me, and just knowing that we have 6 types of them. Like, one would assume that dyslexia is just dyslexia. So perhaps for the proper context, the 6 that they are, what are they?
Dyslexia is a continuum. Meaning, 2 people with dyslexia will show different characteristics, and it also have different causes. What causes dyslexia may be the one that is showing or exposing what the type of dyslexia this child has. First, I said dyslexia, bottom line, that this child has difficulties in school and will have difficulties with reading. That is bottom line. All of the children, all people with dyslexia will have sort of reading, writing, and spelling difficulties. One type is where a child will be able to identify alphabets and will be able to read the letters, like they can read a book and all that.
Yeah.
But when you put that together, they cannot make a word.
Okay.
For example, if a child see the word THE, they'll be able to make the word the no, they won't be able to make the word there, but they will be reading the word individually, the letters individually. So for this child to be able to make that sound, to make the word there, it will take them a very long time to really recall that this THE makes the sound there. So you find there are those who will be able to read easily the words that are pronounced the way they are written. For example, when you put the word like which one? Which letter that you pronounce? You see the word, the way the words are, like book might be easy, but there is going to be a challenge there, because when you say book, but when you say HE, the pronunciation is not going to be the one the letters are making. The sound the letters are making is not coming out.
I hear you.
That is one type. Then the other type is this child. There's another one who will be able to read, but they will not be able to understand. They might read well. They may be able to read well, but when it comes to understand, they will not understand. There's another type that they will spell the words the way they are pronounced. They will only be able to spell the words that are pronounced the way they are written. For example, the word right. How many sounds of right do we have? Just think about them. How many? Their rights are like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So this one child will be writing one right in their whole text. The one that they remember. R-I-T-G-H-T is right. W-R-I-T is right.
R-I-T-E is right.
So you find this child in one composition, for example, they are only writing one. They can write one. The very first time they write one of it, they will write well. But thereafter, they will keep changing inside.
Interchanging.
Whichever comes into their mind.
That's what they will.
Yeah. So you find they spell the word. Those who, they will also be able to spell the word the way they are pronounced. For example, the word left. Left is left. But when it comes, for example, word phone, how do you find phone being spelled? F-O-N. Is that not phone?
But that's not actually the phone as is.
That's how it should be. It is not, that's not how it should be.
Yeah.
So they have difficulties in spelling. There are those who have difficulty in reading. There are those who have difficulty even knowing the sound of letters. They may not be having that phonological, they have phonological disorder. So we have those who are able to read, those who are not able to read, those who cannot even tell the ABC. They see the words, like the letters, like symbols. For example, if you see a foreign language with phonological, with orthography, the English, the one, for example, an Italian language, they are using the alphabets the way we are using them. But are you able to, can you be able to read the words? Okay. So that's what they see.
All right.
So we have different types, we have different causes. So what causes different, the causes of dyslexia are mainly 3.
Just hold it. We'll come to that momentarily. The types, not the type, because you've really told us a bit much about that. We'll come to the causes momentarily. But I just want to pick it up with Michael. Just listening to what also Phyllis is talking about, the issues of reading, understanding, not being able to even put words together. For you as a parent, at what point did you notice some of these signs, or what was it like for you?
It is the expectation of every parent to have a normal child in quote.
Yeah, because
and just as what Phyllis,
everyone is normal.
Yeah, everyone is normal.
Yes.
But just as what Phyllis has said, sometimes it takes time before one identifies that a child has dyslexia.
Right.
One, dyslexia is not known in Kenya. So many people, including the teachers who are teaching in both primary and secondary school, does not understand what is dyslexia. A case in mind is about my child.
Yeah.
The boy was born in 2004, but we came to know about dyslexia once he was doing his class 8. And
so in all his school life,
we never knew, the teacher
even
never
you
knew.
as a parent could not.
We never knew what it was. We could identify the problem with the boy, with the problem that he was undergoing, the learning disability. He could not even read, he could not even write, and at one point as a parent you think the boy is lazy. So sometimes you keep on punishing the boy just because he's not performing just like others are doing.
Just allow me to butt in kindly.
Yeah.
So you did say that, and you really did raise a very good point, that there's no knowledge of it.
Yeah.
And this emanates from both even the parents as well as the teachers.
Yeah.
But when you look at the classical, case in point, as even as you talk about your son, that you said all through his school life up till class 8, that's when you really did discover.
Yeah.
And for you as a parent, you would even beat the child, say the child is lazy. But I'm just looking at all these 8 years, much as you would say this could be the issues, maybe the child is not learning like any other child at lazy, there was no point where you just felt as a parent, maybe it's not even laziness. How
you see, I don't know, but Phyllis, you agree with me that most of these children have delayed milestone.
Okay.
Because my son started walking at age 4. He started talking at age 5. The younger brother walked before him, talked before him, and he helped the boy. Now the other brother, the older brother, just to walk and So sometimes you are struggling with these other things rather than dealing with the actual problem of dyslexia. So throughout, as parents, we could ask ourselves, what is really the problem with the boy? He was being, since he was age 1, at exactly when he reached 1 year, that's when the boy started getting sick. He was in and out of hospitals. Sometimes you go there, he's diagnosed with problems that haieleweki. The problem has problem with the intakes of nutrient. At one point he's anemic. So we concentrated with you so much with the health of the boy rather than knowing exactly about. We didn't know about dyslexia, so there was no way we could have gone and
at that point.
So, and even when we knew about it, it was by default, because the school that he was in, when he was about to be registered for KCPE, that's when the head teacher of the school took the boy even without our knowledge, called somebody to come and do assessment, and then the assessor wrote the report. And then the head teacher called us and told us, this is a report of the child, and he has been diagnosed with a condition called dyslexia.
And this is very foreign to you at this point?
It's foreign to me. We didn't know what is it. So I started now trying to know what is it, dyslexia, what does it. So at the end of the day, you expected even the performance in the examination was not so good. And then the biggest problem was, now that the boy has done class 8, what do you do with the boy? He was admitted somewhere in a school in Kisumu. Now, knowing the condition of the boy, and even not knowing the school, that's where the challenge came. In fact, I went back to the head teacher and just told her, just assist me. Where do I take this boy? Because each and every evening, once we come, the boy could ask, Daddy, umepata shule? Then as a parent, umezunguka, you don't know where to go. So at the end of the day, I went back to the same head teacher and just asked for assistance from her. And then when she sent me to a certain secondary school, just in Kiambu, I went to there and they told me, no, with such kind of condition, the boy will just throw our miniscore.
That is harsh.
So then I asked her, then what next for me?
So ilikuwa ujipange?
Yeah. Then that's at that point now she told me, unless now you go to the sub-county director of education, then he or she will tell you what to do. Immediately I went to Kiambu. And what happened is that the secretary I found at the reception happened to be one of our friends. I didn't know.
Okay.
As I was narrating the whole story to her, there was another secretary who was doing her work.
Yeah.
And out of that, when we were done, she told me there is a certain school in Kitengela which deals with the children with dyslexia.
Right.
That's how I came to know about where Akina Phyllis are. So I called the school, I went there personally, and the sister told me about the whole thing about the school, and I took the boy.
Okay.
What I can tell you right now, the boy is so happy. Right now he's in Form 4 this year, and he longed to be the school, because one of the challenges that these children have is acceptance. Where they are.
Just pause it there. Pause it there. We'll come again to this momentarily, because I want us to go step by step. You talk about the challenges. But Phyllis, just when you listen to Michael speak, I'm picking a lot of lack of information, lack of knowledge, and I'm just getting in my head that was harsh. Enda ujipange. That, you know, what the teacher told you, because this is going to lower our mean score. But again, you realize there's that when you talk about lack of knowledge and insufficient bit of it, that when you even pick Michael's case, took 8+ years for him to realize. So then what are these telltale signs that even a parent, let's not even go to teachers, as a parent of this child, what are you looking at?
The symptoms of dyslexia.
Tying it to the causes.
The causes, okay. Now, what Michael had seen earlier, had he known about dyslexia, there are things that he would have, you know, like highlights. One, this delayed milestone. Not all, some.
Disclaimer.
Yes.
Not all.
Not all. They will have those delayed milestone, especially speaking. They will speak later. Like 3 years, they'll develop speech late. Again, most of them, they will not be able to respond when you talk to them, but they are hearing everything. So you can actually converse with this child, go bring me, niletee ile, enda wambie fulani, go switch off that TV, go do this, go
but they
do
just
that.
can't be able to respond.
They cannot be able to respond. So they are actually communicating. And you actually can sit there. Again, when they speak, you'll never know that, when did they start speaking? Because you've already been conversing with them, you cannot tell exactly, is it yesterday he spoke the first word, or is it, because they just start talking and they talk completely like they never had any problem, because they were like absorbing everything. So that is one, delayed speech. Again, as a parent at home, you realize that this child, sometimes they are very good with the kids playing around. They're actually the heroes at home, because they are cloud purers. But now when they go to school, that's when the problem comes. They will have those things I said. They cannot understand. They cannot rhyme words. They cannot, you see, the basic things. Children in preschool, they play group. They go there to learn music, dancing, just getting to know language. So you'll find they have difficulties understanding or picking up words, understanding basic words, and also confusing words. For example, they will pronounce the words wrongly. They will add something else, like for example, when they are saying like sausage, they will say something else. They will not be able to, they develop vocabularies very late.
So just for purpose of understanding, so you are a parent in this in the home, and yes, you did say that not excuse me, not for all cases, but ideally when you just see your child, this is age 3, 4, and they really can't speak, so to speak,
that's one.
That's one thing that should ring a bell to you as a parent. Two,
learning words, developing vocabularies, even in the local languages or whatever language you have.
I hear you.
Then the other one is calling things, you know, like transposing, changing the pronunciation of words.
Okay, and also they can't respond to you. Like you'd send them for this cup, you'd expect they would even say something. They know this is a cup.
Yes.
They would even go get the cup.
Yes.
But they really can't quite respond to you.
Yes.
So these are some of the things that you need to also be looking at as
a parent at home.
Okay.
Yeah, but clearly when it is still hard at that time to say whether it could be dyslexia.
It's still difficult to ascertain.
It is difficult. It's only when a parent is really been exposed. Like for example, me, I can point out and see Maybe, but you can't actually be able to diagnose it at that level. It is until when the child goes to school. And these are now the signs that you, as a parent or even as a child, as a teacher, you need to start seeing. Is this child learning to run the alphabets like others?
Okay.
Is this child learning to combine words to make letters to make word? Is it becoming very difficult? When it is the play group, is this child, you know, the excitement, the child go learning, they learn a new song, this child comes and learns, you know, what did you learn in school? You realize that they are really over, they don't want to hear anything about school. They cannot rhyme, they cannot, you know, get those rhyming and singing and remembering what they talked, they were taught. The another sign that I probably would have missed is when this child, we are sending him, giving him instructions. You give him like 2 instructions, he only remembers maybe 1. For example, we, like parents, we like sending our children, let a jikoni they tell 1, 2, 3, whole thing. He will go into the jikoni and it's like, Mom, what did you send me? He has forgotten. Cannot remember. So we have had cases of many parents saying, my child is forgetting everything. They run in school, you think they have understood, but they are forgetting very fast.
So also as a parent, don't just say this is a child, there are only 3, there are 4. It should begin to start bringing something to you as a parent.
Yes, when you send this child, one, you have to, you find that you are finding yourself now relearning how to do things. For example, like if you are sending him, you've already learned that if I send him 3 things, he will not remember. I'll have to tell him, go bring me this. He brings. Go bring, you, instead of telling him, nilete kijiko na sahani, jikoni, then he's like, what did you send? Or you even find him struggling. Did I, you know, what was I saying?
Was it kijiko, was it sahani?
Yes. Or sometimes they will bring something that you
totally salt and you wonder
exactly.
I hear you, and I want to come to you, Michael, on the challenges, because you did touch on it a bit. But before I get to do that, Phyllis, just talk to me about these courses, because yes, you did talk about the symptoms and the telltale signs, and I felt that was important, because then when you look at 8 years and 10 years, some even realize this at tertiary level. So it's quite important to understand that this is, when you see this in a child, then as a parent, just you might need to want to start doing something. So very quickly, what really does cause this?
There are 3 types and causes of dyslexia, and they are tied together. One is the very common one, and that is what is all the books write a lot about, is developmental dyslexia, or inherited. It is generic, it runs in our family. So you'll find in a family, you find cousins, brothers, or even an uncle or an aunt.
So there's an element of genetics.
It is a lot. That the actual dyslexia is that's genetic. It runs in the family.
Oh, okay.
And even that is.
Do you know one thing?
Yeah.
You are a product of nature and nurture. And nature is basically genetic. So you could be what you are just because of the genetic process that you have come through, that process. The other thing is nature, and nature is the environment that you live in.
What you're now accustomed to.
Exactly.
I get you.
So that is genetic, and it runs in the family, and that's when you realize able it is, and you never overcome it. What you do, you can learn to, you can relearn to do things. Like I give example, a left-handed person can learn to use the right hand, and many people are beaten to use the right hand, but they never stopped using the left hand. So what they are done is they are made to be able to use both hands equally. That is genetic dyslexia. The other dyslexia is developmental. Developmental in sense, it is when a child is exposed, or a fetus exposed to certain things, chemicals, medicine, alcohol, when at the fetus development level. They develop learning, they develop a disorder in something affects their minds, or the side of mind that
while still in the womb.
When still in the womb, and the side of mind that is well for reading, and this one they develop that development, that disorder, but this can be overcome
So this second bit of it can be overcome?
This developmental dyslexia can be overcome when, because it is not in their genes, by the nature of the training or how they are going to now develop after birth. Sometimes it can, sometimes it may not completely. The other one is acquired dyslexia. Any one of us can acquire dyslexia. It is caused by when you are probably hit on the side of mind that processes language, or you are foreign, an illness like meningitis or malaria. Again, that can be overcome or it can be permanent. For example, if you get meningitis and it affects your mind, side of mind completely, you will develop difficulty in reading. So you find a child who was good, well performing in preschool, class 7, in maybe by the age 7, they develop this illness. They completely lose their ability to read, and they completely, forever, it will forever go. So those are the 3 types of dyslexia: acquired, developmental, and genetic. When we are talking about dyslexia, we are talking about the genetic dyslexia, because these others can be prevented.
True. Now, well, I want to really come to challenges, but from what you've said, it just orients my mind to think about a myth. There's a time I heard that when you give a child eggs, and this is it boiled eggs or scrambled or you know, the fried one, but just eggs in general, when they're below 2 or 1 or 3, below 3, that this child might actually get difficulties in comprehending things, understanding and reading. That's a myth.
I've had many myths, but I've never had that one.
Michael,
I've never had that one.
You said that you are a product of
you have.
And nature.
Yeah, so I want you to
and you see, nature is the form part of the culture
of someone.
And your culture is the way of life where you live. So there are those names here and there. So it might not be the real thing.
I've never had that one. About eggs.
Yeah, that, when you give a child when they're below 3, below 2, that it's too early for a child to be eating eggs at that point. That this might affect.
We are talking about introduction of animal proteins. I don't know. I wouldn't sit here and say that I've ever had that. The other myths, like people say you can give fish oil. That will help dyslexia. Fish oil is very good for developing your mind. It is food of the mind.
So let's just settle that that's just a myth.
That's a myth.
That's a myth.
I am not going to we can't. Those are myths.
Speak into that. I hear you. So then, Michael, you did touch on these challenges and the issues that these children face, and you had begun talking about acceptance.
You know, challenges are both internal and external. When it comes to internal, it starts with you as a parent. When a woman is expectant, you expect to get a healthy, good, everything child. When you get a child that is not what you thought, the first thing is denial.
Even you as a parent?
Even you as a parent. This is not what I expected. And I can tell you, for us, me and my wife, we had to go to both our parents and ask, is there anything that could have affected this child? So from my side, we were told there is nothing. I went to my wife's side and we are told that there is nothing. And we got more confused. Now we don't know, because we expected now could be something from either parent, either sides. But now you are being told there is nothing. So the first thing is now that denial. What kind of a child do? And you know, the major problem we have with these children is that because of this issue of dyslexia, sometimes associate with mental disability. And this is one of the major problems that these children, major challenge that these children goes through. Because when somebody cannot read, cannot write, somebody thinks that the child is mentally sick.
Incapacitated.
So, acceptance from my side and from society's side is so crucial if this child has to live his full life, the fullness of life.
Yes.
2 is that there is lack of facilities to handle this. She has talked about the kind of training that our teachers are going through. So at the end of the day, a teacher goes to a school or a training school for 2 years. By the time she or she come out of there, she has not been trained. The 2 years are such a short period to be able to go through all the things that a child is supposed to go through. So if the teacher does not get or is not equipped fully by the time he or she is coming out of the college, then how will you be able to handle these children with the kind of the other thing is the cost of training that child, because you see, you not take that child to any school like where my child is. You sometimes sympathize with the school, because at the end of the day they don't take any other teacher, but take a teacher who you understand these children. The teacher is not paid by the government, the teacher is being by the institutions. So at the end of the day, it's also become both to the institution and also to the parent. The cost become too much. Then there is also a lack of, policy framework across the board. Do we have a policy, a framework that you help deal with these children? For children with autism, I think it's easily noticeable. So institutions, you just take that child. But dyslexia, as it is, I've not seen any policy framework that deals with this one. Then the other thing, maybe Phyllis can tell you, these children are easily provoked. When they say, oh, because I'm just like this, because of this. So they easily provoke. And like my boy used to fight a lot. Until now you have to sit down and the boy and calm him down for him to accept himself. It is so important and very crucial for us parent and any other stakeholder, first of all, to create awareness in this child, so that the child can know, this is my conditions. Now we talk with the boy, you know, you're having a condition called dyslexia, and this is what is expected of you. So even if he does not perform, he knows that I can do my best, but it's up to here.
All right, I hear you. And
I want to talk about the reason why they are angry.
Okay.
Mainly because they are normal, they are, okay, not serious, no abnormal. They are like you. They understand everything. They understand they have no problem. But the way the society treats them, they respond. They are called names by teachers, by family, even there are some family you find like him, he has this child and they were told your child is a slow learner. So in school, when they are a slow learner, what happens? You expect that they will not understand anything else. They come, you are expecting that now you have a child with mental retardation or some sort, for a lack of a better word. You do not expect them to do anything. And you treat them badly, they are called names there. So the anger is in retaliation.
I hear you.
They are defending themselves.
I hear you.
They are defending that sort of anger is it's what the environment has treated them, so they are responding.
And we have 4 minutes to exit because you need to be leaving at 9:40 for this particular conversation. And I wouldn't want us to exit without talking a bit about that training bit, because you did touch on it, and this in regards to the CBC and also the fact that grade 7 are opening today, and we did talk about the recruitment of 30,000 teachers. The whole proposal was to have 1 teacher in each public school. We're talking about slightly above 30,000 public primary schools in this country. But then my question would have been, are we thinking about children with this kind of condition? And what really, I know I've having a very big question there, but just what do you think we can do? Because Michael did touch on the training and really explain it very, very well. But then what more can we do to bridge this gap from where you sit?
Right now, there is need workshop sort of training for teachers to understand the invisible learning difficulties. Because what teachers that we have at the school right now, they are coming out without that knowledge of identifying learning learning difficulties, not special needs, learning difficulties. And we've said individual teacher, people with the dyslexia, you cannot tell by looking at them until you are at school, until you are a teacher. So teachers require at all levels, be able to identify, because as you have heard, his was identified when he was in class 7, all class, as he was about to sit for his exam. If teachers at that level, they needed to understand. So we are talking about the need for teacher training at all levels to come from the learning institutes, from college, knowing how to identify learning needs, the learning difficulties, the invisible learning difficulties, so that they can say, if a child is not able is reversing letters and reading slowly or not even able to read, could they be dyslexic? Then they would be able to send that child to the specialist.
I hear you.
Assessment is again another very important thing, that array intervention, array assessment leads to array intervention. Had his son been identified early, intervention would have been done quite early. So that's why it is important for teachers to be able to understand at very early age. Although we are now advocating for teachers in ECD and grade school to be trained, but if it is, these are units that is a common topic in all colleges, at all levels, because dyslexia, knowledge about dyslexia needs to be developed according to the grades, the college level of reading, of learning. So I would say array identification is very important, and that can only happen when all teachers at all levels are able to are trained.
I hear you.
And because right now we have the gap, what can need to be done is now the workshop levels of teacher training, so that we bring all the teachers on board.
Well said. And I mean, really strapped for time, so really have to conclude at this point. But you know, there's really quite a lot we could have discussed, particularly when it comes to training and even how we can be able to incorporate these workshops. How do we bring on board teachers already, you know, teaching ECD grade 1 to grade 9, where it will reach to the tertiary level. So there's really quite a lot we could have talked about, but we have to really cap it at this particular point.
Thank you.
Nonetheless, we definitely appreciate your valuable inputs. I'm so sure in one or the other we understand what dyslexia is and how even as a society we can be able to, in our own little way, try and assist and help these children come up. I see you really want to talk.
I just want to say,
you have to finish.
For more information, people can go to our Dyslexia Organization Kenya website. There's a lot of information. We do assessment if anyone wants an assessment, and people can reach out on info@dyslexiakenya.org.
Okay. Yep. That is Phyllis Munyi, founder Dyslexia Organization Kenya. Right at the center is Michael Kanyeki, parent of a child with dyslexia. What has formed center of our conversation is just demystifying dyslexia, understanding what learning disorder this is, and also even as we look at CBC opening, that is grade 7 opening today, just how can we bridge the issue of teacher training in handling children or learners living with this disorder, I shall say. Good place to end this conversation, and ultimately, good morning, Kenya. I'm Doreen Arange Okello. On behalf of the entire team, asante sana. Till tomorrow, good morning.